What if the very beings meant to protect humanity were the ones who doomed it? Before demons, before the flood, before even the fall of Lucifer, there was another rebellion, a hidden one, a forgotten chapter buried deep within ancient texts. This is the tale of the Watchers, angels entrusted with the fate of mankind who chose desire over duty, and in doing so, unleashed a terror that still echoes through time. Long before the rise of empires and the shaping of civilizations, in an age hidden from human history, there was a realm where celestial beings known as angels served under the divine command of the Almighty. Among them existed a special group called the Watchers. These were not ordinary angels. They were tasked with a sacred mission, to observe humanity, to guide and protect without ever interfering with free will. The Watchers descended to Earth during a time when mankind was still in its infancy. They were majestic, radiant beings whose presence brought awe and reverence. To early humans, these angels seemed like gods, wise, powerful, and otherworldly. But the Watchers carried with them one crucial command from heaven: observe, but do not interfere. However, something happened that would change the course of divine and human history forever. As the Watchers spent more time among humans, they began to admire not just the beauty of Earth, but the beauty of mankind, especially the daughters of men. A forbidden desire grew within them. Soon, admiration turned into lust. They began to crave what was never meant to be theirs. Led by a powerful angel named Semjaza, the Watchers made a pact to top Mount Hermon. There were 200 of them, the Book of Enoch tells us, who descended and bound themselves by oath, swearing to take human women as wives and bear children with them. Semjaza feared he alone would be blamed if the plan failed. So he convinced his brethren to swear a collective oath, binding all 200 Watchers in shared rebellion. And so, in defiance of God's command, they took wives for themselves, teaching these women the secrets of heaven. They shared knowledge of enchantments, root cutting, weapon making, and even the understanding of the stars. The children born from these unholy unions were not ordinary. They were giants, the Nephilim, mighty beings of great power and insatiable hunger. They devoured the labor of men. When that was not enough, they turned to flesh, human flesh. The earth became corrupt under their influence. Violence spread. Blood soaked the soil. The balance of creation was unraveling. And the Watchers, once guardians of humanity, now stood silently as the world spiraled into chaos. A chaos of their own making. But their betrayal did not go unnoticed. The cries of humanity reached the heavens. And the Almighty, Michael, was ordered to bind Semjaza and his followers. Raphael was sent to deal with Azazel, another leader among the Watchers who taught men the art of war and seduction. Azazel's corruption was great, and God commanded that he be cast into the desert, into a pit of sharp stones, to remain bound in darkness until the day of judgment. The Nephilim were to be destroyed. Their spirits, once they died, would not return to heaven. Instead, they would wander the earth as evil spirits, restless, malevolent, tormenting the living. And yet, this divine judgment was not the end. It was only the beginning. The descent of the Watchers was not a quiet one. It shook the heavens and stirred the earth. When the 200 descended upon Mount Hermon, they did not hide in the shadows. The Watchers came in brilliance, clothed in light, majestic and powerful, their very presence warping the natural order. Mortals, struck with awe, bowed before them. What could shepherds and farmers do against such radiant beings? The Watchers were mistaken for gods. And perhaps, in their hearts, they began to believe it too. Their leader, Semjaza, once a mighty prince among the host of heaven, took the first step into darkness. He was not forced into sin but seduced by desire. He gazed upon the daughters of men not with compassion but with longing. It was no accident. It was choice. Semjaza feared the consequences. He feared he might be alone in his transgression. So he gathered his brethren and made them swear an oath. A pact was sealed among them that none would turn back, that all would fall together. Bound by this oath, they crossed the line from guardians to corrupters. What followed was not love but possession. The Watchers took human women as wives and bred giants, the Nephilim. These were no ordinary children. They were massive, violent, and insatiable. They devoured everything. Crops failed. Flocks vanished. The earth bled. Humanity, once blessed with knowledge and wonder, now found itself burdened by chaos and fear. The Watchers had taught their wives and followers secret arts. Not wisdom to uplift, but knowledge that corrupted. Azazel, another of the fallen, taught men how to forge weapons and make war. He unveiled the secrets of metal, not for plowshares but for swords. He taught women the use of makeup, enchantments, and charms. Vanity bloomed and innocence withered. The earth cried out. The angels who were meant to protect mankind had led it to the brink of ruin. The Watchers had given them fire, but not to warm their homes. It was the fire of pride, lust, and violence. And as the Nephilim ruled like tyrants, the heavens looked on in growing fury. Archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel witnessed the abomination on earth. They did not act hastily. Heaven is patient, but even patience has its limits. God heard the cries of the oppressed, saw the blood of the innocent staining the ground, and he spoke. Go, he said to the archangels, cleanse the earth, bind the Watchers, destroy their offspring. What came next was judgment. Divine wrath poured from the heavens. The Nephilim were struck down in battle and by the very hand of nature. Mountains split, waters surged, fire rained. The chaos the Watchers unleashed was turned back upon them. As for the Watchers, they were bound in chains and cast into the abyss, a prison of darkness beneath the earth, where they remain until the final judgment. Azazel, the corrupter, was buried beneath the jagged rocks of Dudiel, a desert of burning sands and howling winds. His name, once sung among angels, became a curse. But the story does not end there. For in their fall, the Watchers left behind more than devastation. They left questions, secrets, warnings. Some say their spirits still roam the earth restless, angry, whispering to those who seek forbidden power. And in the shadows of history, their legacy lingers. The Watchers were gone, imprisoned beneath the earth, but the chaos they unleashed did not vanish with them. Their children, the Nephilim, had ravaged the world. Even as many of them fell under divine judgment, the echoes of their existence haunted the generations that followed. Some were destroyed in floods and fire. Others were slain in wars, hunted by humans and angels alike. But not all were gone. It was said that some Nephilim survived, hidden in the dark corners of the world. Twisted in form, gigantic in size, they no longer ruled openly but passed into legend. They became monsters in the tales of tribes, giants whose bones were buried beneath mountains and deserts. Yet their spirits endured, restless and corrupted. These spirits, the disembodied souls of the Nephilim, could not ascend to heaven, nor be accepted by the earth. Rejected by both realms, they became what ancient texts called evil spirits. Their hunger for violence did not die with their bodies. They roamed the world, unseen but felt, sowing hatred, war, and destruction among men. Wherever whispers of cruelty stirred in the hearts of kings, wherever blood was spilled for power, these spirits were near. They whispered secrets of domination, envy, and betrayal. They were not of heaven or earth. They were in between, and they were angry. The Book of Enoch reveals a chilling truth. These spirits would plague mankind until the day of judgment. They would not sleep. They would not rest. And though their fathers were bound, their influence would stretch across the ages. Some ancient civilizations, without ever knowing the name Nephilim, recorded similar stories. Tales of mighty beings who fell from the sky, who gave mankind forbidden knowledge, who bred monstrous offspring. From Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica, echoes of the Watchers lingered. In Babylon, legends of Apkallu, divine sages who turned corrupt, bear a haunting resemblance to the Watchers. In Greece, the Titans rose in rebellion against the gods. In Hindu texts, Asuras fell from the heavens with ambition in their hearts. The theme repeats, reshaped by culture but rooted in the same catastrophe. Were these myths fragments of the same truth? Memories passed down through ages, distorted by time, yet clinging to a single primal event? Even today, some believe the Nephilim walk among us, not as giants but as influencers. Those who possess uncanny knowledge, power beyond their station, charisma that enslaves minds. Are they the blood of fallen angels? Or merely puppets of ancient spirits? In times of great turmoil, whispers return. Stories of giants reawakened, of secret societies guarding bloodlines, of wars waged not by nations, but by forces ancient and unseen. Whether metaphor or literal truth, the legacy of the Watchers and their cursed offspring casts a long, dark shadow over human history. It is not just a tale of angels and giants. It is a warning. When power is given without wisdom, when divine secrets are used for pride, the line between protector and destroyer vanishes. And though the Watchers fell long ago, their story is not over. The chains that bound the Watchers beneath the mountains were not only physical. They were symbolic, a warning etched into the history of heaven and earth. Yet despite their imprisonment, the knowledge they passed on to humanity did not die with them. The arts of war, enchantments, divination, weaponry, seduction, astrology, all these once sacred or forbidden crafts, seated by the Watchers, became the foundation of powerful kingdoms. Humanity, now armed with celestial secrets, advanced in leaps that astounded even the angels who watched from above. But with that advancement came a heavy cost. As the centuries passed, this knowledge was neither forgotten nor cleansed. It became embedded in mystery schools, cults, and priesthoods. The secrets of the Watchers lived on through symbols, rituals, and hidden manuscripts. Some claimed these teachings were preserved in the famed Library of Alexandria. Others whispered of their survival in the secret texts of the Essenes, or the scrolls hidden in Qumran. It was not just knowledge of metallurgy or astronomy. The Watchers taught how to manipulate creation itself, how to twist the natural order. Some legends say they revealed the names of powerful spirits, how to bind them, and how to access realms beyond the veil of the material world. Civilizations that rose after the deluge often bore strange similarities, as if guided by a hidden hand. From Egypt to Sumer, from the Indus Valley to the Andes, there appeared gods with animal heads, flying discs, star maps, and rituals meant to call down divine forces. Were these cultures independently inspired? Or were they all drinking from the same ancient, forbidden well? In some esoteric circles, this hidden stream of knowledge was known as the wisdom of the Watchers. And even as mainstream religions sought to bury the Book of Enoch and suppress these teachings, certain secret societies revered them. Alchemists, Gnostics, and Hermetic orders all hinted at the same origin, a time when heavenly beings walked among men and shared truths not meant for the uninitiated. This created a divide. While the divine plan was to guide humanity with order, law, and divine timing, the Watchers had forced enlightenment through rebellion. They offered shortcuts, empowerment without discipline, transformation without spiritual readiness. The result was catastrophe. Some argue that modern science and technology still carry the echo of this original transgression. Our obsession with control, manipulation, and transcendence without moral grounding mirrors the error of the Watchers. We seek to dominate the natural world, to transcend our limitations, but do we understand the cost? In times of great leaps, the atomic age, the rise of artificial intelligence, the exploration of genetic manipulation, voices return to the old warnings. Are we once again reaching into the heavens without permission? Perhaps the tale of the Watchers is not just history. Perhaps it is prophecy, a cycle repeating itself. For every age of man that reaches too high, a fall is inevitable. As humanity stands on the edge of another unknown frontier, the lessons of the Watchers whisper again. Their punishment was severe, their legacy enduring, and the knowledge they gave us is still alive. Before the flood washed the earth clean, the Nephilim, giants born of angelic fathers and human mothers, walked openly among men. Towering in stature, ravenous in appetite, they were not only giants in size but in cruelty, arrogance, and power. The scriptures said, "They devoured all the acquisitions of men." But when the earth could no longer sustain their hunger, they turned upon mankind. They consumed not only food but flesh, human flesh. Their very existence became an abomination that poisoned the land. The Nephilim were not merely mindless beasts. Many were said to be cunning, building kingdoms, declaring themselves gods, and demanding worship. They taught war, blood rites, and the veneration of their fathers, the Watchers. Temples were built in their honor. Blood sacrifices were offered to them, and their names echoed through ancient myths as heroes, titans, and demigods. Cultures across the ancient world spoke of these mighty beings. In Greek mythology, they were the Titans, overthrown by the Olympians. In Mesopotamia, they were the Apkallu. In Hindu lore, the Asuras. In Norse sagas, the Jotnar. Though names varied, the pattern remained the same. Beings of immense power, born of gods and mortals, cast down by divine wrath. When the Great Flood came, it was not only to cleanse humanity's sin but to eradicate the bloodline of the Nephilim. The waters swallowed their cities, shattered their altars, and silenced their roars. Their bones became the stuff of legend, buried deep beneath mountains, deserts, and oceans. But the story did not end with the deluge. Even after the flood, remnants of the Nephilim bloodline were said to survive. In Genesis 6 verse 4, it reads, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward." This haunting phrase has sparked centuries of debate. Did the giants return? Did some escape? Or did their cursed lineage continue through hidden lines? When the Israelites entered the land of Canaan, they encountered tribes described as giants: the Anakim, the Rephaim, the Zamzummim. Moses sent spies into the land who returned saying, "We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." King Og of Bashan was said to be one of the last of the Rephaim. His iron bed measured over 13 feet in length. Goliath of Gath, whom David slew, was also described as a giant, descended from a lineage known as the Rapha. If the Watchers were imprisoned and the Nephilim destroyed, how did their legacy survive? Some believe that dark rituals were performed after the flood to reawaken the forbidden union. Others claim that not all the Watchers were caught. A few may have escaped justice, continuing their influence in secret. Whispers speak of ancient bloodlines passed down through kings, sorcerers, and rulers obsessed with reclaiming divine power. In some traditions, the elite bloodlines of history, pharaohs, emperors, even modern dynasties, trace their ancestry to these hybrid origins. The concept of divine right to rule may find its roots not in metaphor but in blood. More disturbing are claims that these ancient spirits can return, not in flesh but through possession. That the spirits of the Nephilim, once disembodied by death, became the wandering demons that plagued the earth, restless, angry, seeking bodies to inhabit once again. In the Book of Enoch, these spirits are called the evil spirits of the earth, born of the Nephilim. Since they are part angel and part human, their spirits are bound neither to heaven nor to Sheol. They roam, whispering madness, driving kings to war, and tempting the hearts of men with visions of glory and destruction. So while the giants may have died in body, their influence never left. Their curse lingers in the halls of power, in forgotten temples, and perhaps even in the very ideas that shape our modern world. They were not just giants of flesh, they were giants of rebellion, and their shadows stretched long across the ages. With the destruction of the Nephilim and the corruption they brought, judgment turned toward the source, the Watchers themselves. These fallen angels, once majestic and radiant, now bore the full weight of their rebellion, and their punishment would echo through the deepest places of the earth. According to the Book of Enoch, the archangel Uriel was sent by the Most High with a divine decree. The Watchers were to be bound and cast into the darkest abyss, a prison beneath the earth called the Valley of the Earth, or more ominously, the place of everlasting chains. This prison was not merely symbolic. It was described as a tangible, dreadful realm hidden beneath mountains of fire, locked away from the light of heaven and the memory of men. There they would remain until the day of judgment. Enoch was shown this place in a vision. He described it as a desolate and terrible land, filled with pillars of heavenly fire, and a great abyss burning with fire. It was there that Azazel was thrown, bound hand and foot, cast into utter darkness, with jagged rocks piled over him to seal his fate. The sins he had taught, warfare, sorcery, the art of seduction, would die with him. But only in theory. For though Azazel was chained, the knowledge he shared had already infected the human race. His fire still burned in the hearts of men. His influence lingered like smoke from a long-extinguished flame. Other leaders among the Watchers suffered similar fates. Semjaza, their chief, was said to be suspended between heaven and earth, hung upside down as a mockery of his former glory, watching his children perish in the flood, unable to intervene. The torment of the Watchers was not merely physical. It was spiritual. They had once basked in the presence of the Creator, sang among the stars, and walked the heavens. Now they were forgotten, buried beneath myths, feared only in whispers. But not all traditions agree that their prison was eternal. Some ancient sources hint at the possibility of release. In the Book of Revelation, a mysterious passage speaks of the abyss being opened and locusts rising from the smoke. These were not insects, but beings with human faces, crowns of gold, and iron breastplates. Many scholars have suggested that this apocalyptic imagery refers to the return of the Watchers or their spirits. In other apocryphal texts, it is said that the chains that bind them would weaken with time, and their influence would once again leak into the world through dreams, rituals, and bloodlines. Could this be what the ancients feared most? That the Watchers would not remain in prison forever? Even the Book of Jude, found in the New Testament, makes a cryptic reference. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. Reserved is the key word here. It implies that their fate is not yet sealed. It is no coincidence that mountains, caves, and deep chasms have long been considered portals to the underworld in many cultures. From the Greek Tartarus to the Norse Nibelheim to the Buddhist Naraka, the idea of fallen beings imprisoned below the surface of the earth is nearly universal. What if those myths are echoes of a shared truth? That something ancient and powerful sleeps beneath us, waiting for the right time to rise again? And what of Enoch himself? This mysterious patriarch, who walked with God and was no more, was not only the witness of these events but the scribe tasked with preserving them. The Book of Enoch was said to be hidden, buried beneath the sands or locked in heavenly vaults, until the last days. When it resurfaced in modern times, translated from Ethiopian texts long forgotten by the Western world, it shocked scholars and mystics alike. How could an ancient book, referenced in the Bible, yet excluded from it, contain such detailed visions of the cosmos, the fall of angels, and the spiritual war beneath creation? Was Enoch warning us? Or preparing us? One thing is clear, the Watchers fell. But their story did not end with their fall. It echoes still through bloodlines, secret knowledge, and the terrifying possibility that one day the chains may break. And when they do, the world will remember who they were, and tremble. The cries of the earth had reached the highest heavens. Blood soaked the soil, and the anguished pleas of humanity pierced the veil between realms. The Watchers, once radiant beings of divine light, now stood as condemned traitors, their glorious rebellion reduced to ashes in the face of divine wrath. Enoch, the chosen scribe, the man who walked with God, stood once more before the heavenly throne. The voices of the archangels surrounded him, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, each bearing witness to the chaos unleashed upon the world. It was time for the final judgment. God's decree was thunderous and final. These Watchers, said the voice that created all things, have defiled themselves with the daughters of men. They have revealed forbidden knowledge, corrupted the earth, and brought forth giants who consumed the fruits of my creation. Each watcher would receive their sentence, and none would be spared. Azazel, the ringleader who taught mankind the arts of war, seduction, and sorcery, was bound hand and foot by Raphael. He was cast into the heart of the desert, into a pit of jagged stones. Over him, a mountainous tomb of darkness was heaped, sealing him away until the day of judgment. His name would be cursed forevermore. Semjaza, whose heart had once wavered in doubt but had plunged ahead nonetheless, was cast down with his fellow watchers into a deep abyss. There they would be imprisoned beneath the mountains of the earth, in utter blackness, where their cries would echo without answer. The Nephilim, the offspring of angels and mortals, were wiped from the face of the earth. Divine fire and roaring floods consumed them. What once stood as monuments to forbidden union now lay broken, buried, and forgotten beneath centuries of ruin. Yet God's mercy endured. He did not abandon mankind. To Noah, descendant of the pure bloodline, God gave instructions to build an ark, for a great flood would come to purge the world. But Enoch, he would not taste death. As a reward for his faithfulness, Enoch was taken up by the heavens. His feet no longer touched the earth, for he had become something more, a bridge between the divine and the mortal. It is said he was transformed into Metatron, the scribe of heaven, a being who stands beside God's throne, recording all that ever was and will be. The watchers remained chained, their rebellion serving as a warning for all of creation. And so the world turned anew, washed clean by judgment and reborn by mercy. The Book of Enoch faded into obscurity, rejected by some, hidden by others, yet never truly lost. For within its pages lies a tale that echoes through every age, a tale of pride and downfall, of hidden knowledge and heavy cost, of divine justice and enduring grace. It asks of us one question: what happens when those who were meant to guide us become the source of our ruin? If this story moved you, if it stirred something ancient and curious in your soul, then join us. Subscribe to Secret History Myth, where we uncover forbidden tales, sacred texts, and mythic truths from the edges of history and faith. Hit the like button if this tale of angels and judgment spoke to you, and comment below with your thoughts. Do you believe the watchers are still watching? Let the hidden be revealed. Let the myth speak once more.